Probably one of the nicest things about working out here is I get the sunset. Well, I got my goal done for the day, which was I got all my plumbing in for the bathroom. I was short a couple parts because I wasn't originally planning on doing it this way. So I still need to get a long 90 over there and then way down the other end long 90. But I got this footing row done. So really all that's left now is just footings. And they may look down here and say, well, that footing isn't straight, it goes like this. Well, that's perfectly fine because it's a footing. No one's going to see it. Look down this row, you can see it kind of wobbles back and forth too. It's probably only in and out an inch, which is no big deal because your slab is what needs to be straight. The footing needs to be level. And it needs to be straight. You don't want it going like way out and back in, but this is plenty straight. So, got to be level, square, and within reason of being straight. I've got one more footing to put in here on the side of the stairs, one that comes out there and then it wraps around. My floor joists are going this way, so that's why I have load bearing footings going this way and load bearing walls going this way. And then I've got to do my 3 post footings out there still. So hopefully tomorrow, they're calling for 65 degrees now. Tomorrow was when I wanted to pour the footings, but as you can see, I'm halfway done. Still got this whole side to do. This side goes this way, this way, this way, that way, back that way, back that way, back that way. So I got a bunch of little jogs here. Okay, I wanted to go over real quick on the toilet. So a toilet must be 12 inches off the finished wall. So when you frame it, if you're accounting for ½ inch of drywall, the center line needs to be 12.5 inches off your center wall. So I've calculated from the edge of my footing in 1 foot 11 inches to the center. So I measured off, I got my mark there, and that's supposed to be the center line of the pipe. So how do you find the center line of the pipe? Well, those tick marks we talked about on the side, right there, and on the other side, I just transfer those up to the top. Put my level on so I can rotate the fitting back and forth so I know it's level. Connect that 3 dots in a row, and then I didn't mark it, but I can see where the tick mark is there to know that I am perfectly centered. If you're off on this, some things aren't necessary to be perfect. Like this is my sink drain. This is going to come up, or the vanity, it's going to come up right underneath the vanity. It doesn't matter where it is because the fittings that go underneath it can be movable. Same thing with my kitchen drain. That can be moved back and forth. But these two are centered in a wall. So I have to make sure that these are centered, and I have to make sure that the stool is perfectly centered where I want it to be. Otherwise, when I go to frame it, things are not going to line up just right. So the way I've measured it, as we talked the other day, you can see my string line is not perfect with the outside of the form. You want to run off your string line because your string line should be straight. If you run out the forms, you may end up being wrong. This is the tub, so I have a block out to drain my tub into. One other thing I can show you real quick is you typically never want to have a footing running over the top of your pipe like I have here. So because of all this rock, I couldn't dig over and have that below grade and then pop it up where I need it to be. So I've laid rock over the top, and I've laid rock over where the footing is going to be. This should allow some flexibility in the pipe, so if the footing should settle a little bit or if things move a little bit, it shouldn't break my pipe at all with the weight. So I've got a little layer at the top, then I'll pack this down, I'll put AB3 over it, and I'll pack that down. So because my footings are so deep, I can't just throw in a bunch of of AB3 or something to compact with all the way up to the top, and expect it to be perfectly settled. So what I'm going to have to do is go in phases. So I'm going to go up 3 to 4 inches with layer, compact it. 3 to 4 inches layer, compact it. Every 3 to 4 inches I'll compact it until I get up to 2 inches shy of the top. And then because I'm planning on doing a radiant heat floor, I'm going to stay down 1.5 inches or 2 inches if I can find 2-inch foam. So my rock base will come up to here, and I'll have foam level with the top, and then I'll run plastic sheeting over the top of everything as my vapor barrier. So the insulation will keep any cold air from below coming up. It'll help keep the heat in your slab. Will help keep that heat from penetrating into the ground as well. Then your plastic layer will keep any moisture from seeping up through your slab. If you ever have a slab within a garage where the floor is always wet, especially in the fall or in the spring during temperature changes, that's why. It's because the moisture is soaking up through the slab and condensing on the top. Having that vapor barrier will prevent that from happening. The old standard used to be using 6 mil plastic. However, they've decided that that's not good enough anymore. So they want you to use something thicker, like a 12 or a 15 mil or a 10 mil. I can readily find 10 mil I can order. Anything above that I've been having trouble finding, so I'm probably just going to order 10 mil. It's not cheap. It's going to run me probably $300 to cover this up. But if you don't, it'll sweat, and when it sweats, that will rot your wood out and cause mold. And then pretty soon your nice new house, you won't be able to live in it because all your walls will be rotten and moldy. You'll be getting sick. So best to do it right the first time.